Ryan. And I'm Nathan. This is the At Odd Show. Please listen.
Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
That's the last time we're having that dog over.
I think so. You invite the dog in, the local bar dog, and
you think
you
he's
never
going to be
know.
well behaved, and he eats a waitress.
It was a pit bull.
No, it wasn't.
You can never tell what those pit bulls are going to do.
Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guards the gates of Hades.
Also, don't get me started on pit bulls, because that's one of the things that pisses me off most in life, is that pit bulls are blamed for everything, ostracized, alienated, and murdered by people who think they're better than a pit bull.
With all the things going on in the world, that's your issue that really pisses you off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Everybody's got something.
Yeah.
I've got that. That, and like we talked about last week, children's books that indoctrinate children to think it's okay to be groped by officers at a security checkpoint. And that was Olivia, so I would suggest not buying any more Olivia, the little piglet that could books.
She was very pleased to be groped.
Yeah, she was, and it's too bad because she's a little pig.
We mentioned that last week on our show, and hopefully nobody will buy that, and there will be outrage with the civil rights community. We don't. I
hope so.
People subjecting us to all kinds of body searches and infringement on our personal ability to go here and there. Right. You know, you give up a little bit of, freedom for a little bit of safety.
Yeah, and if you do that, something like, you deserve neither. Something. Someone famous said something like that one time. I think it was Barack Obama.
No, it wasn't him.
Oh, jeez. Was it FDR?
No.
Was it Jimmy Carter?
No, Bugs Bunny.
You're right, it was Bugs Bunny. He said, "What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc? Don't get Frisk."
I think so.
I don't know if he said that, but he should have. And he probably would have if he were alive today, but sadly.
The Fuds got him.
He died in a hunting accident.
Elmer the Fuds.
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
I like rabbits.
I like rabbits, too. They're delicious.
All right.
And after delicious rabbits, I want to say welcome to At Odds. Today is Thursday, August 29th. We are broadcasting from the back room of the Randy Dog Bar and Studio in a large city in what country, Nate?
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka today.
Did you have any problems getting through customs? Because I had an issue.
You did, and that's because I went through before you.
Yeah.
You didn't
You
notice,
whispered to them.
You didn't notice that I slipped 32 Sri Lankan dollars to the local custom agent?
Yeah.
But I did.
Said, watch the big guy. He's trouble.
Yep.
Yeah, well.
You know, I noticed they had oversized billy clubs, and I figured, you'd appreciate it.
Who knew they would be opposed to bringing in peaches into Sri Lanka?
I know, that's weird, isn't it? It seems like peaches are allowed everywhere.
Peaches can be trouble, you can bring in all kinds of diseases and stuff.
Yeah,
I like a good peach in the morning.
Yeah, you got the Russian customs agent.
No, that's not true at all. It could be Sri Lankan custom agent.
He changed accents
I'm not
halfway
knowing.
through, too. I don't think that was a customs
No,
agent.
listen, maybe not. I don't know. But I said, peaches help me keep regular. Oh, we're not kidding about that. You can bring disease in. I said, yeah, I'm bringing disease in just by walking here. That's another story.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I took the disease back home last time we were here.
You did, and you got a lot of splaining to do.
No, I don't. It's not funny.
Boy. It's 29th, last day of the Like Us gift card contest. You have till, midnight tonight?
Yeah, I'd say midnight tonight.
You can
like us on Facebook, facebook.com/@oddshow.
Not too late.
Nope. So we'll put everyone's name in a virtual hat, and I'll click go, and we'll get a random name.
We'll give it to your cousin Benny.
And Benny will, he's seeded to win, so we'll see how that goes. But if it's not Benny, it could be any one of you. So go like Facebook, facebook.com/@oddshow.
What do you think of Gabby Gifford's gun control pack?
I think they're pretty terrible people.
Yeah, they are horrible. You get shot in the head and look what happens to you.
No, I mean, that...
Too soon?
She was she was a Democrat before she got shot in the head.
She's not a Republican now.
What I've heard is...
Some people would say you have to be brain dead to be... Oh, too soon.
Yeah, no, but... She wasn't really the conservative we're looking for before she got shot in the head. She didn't necessarily have an anti-gun
Yeah, she proposed to be
organization.
a pro-gun person.
Yeah.
She shot, her husband shoots, they own guns.
Yep. Mm-hmm,
As a matter of fact, he got sort of caught trying to buy some guns, but... Anyways, their pact, which is anti-gun...
He was just proving how easy it was for just a normal law-abiding white man to buy a firearm.
And yet he got denied.
Well, the waiting period got him.
It wasn't so easy.
Which is sad, and that's part of compromise, which hopefully we'll talk about compromise, because I saw a video today from the NRA, and it made me chuckle, as well as say, yeah, you're absolutely right. But coming from the NRA... It's
no, it was not coming from the NRA.
Well, the NRA News put it out.
It was Colin Knorr Colin, I don't remember.
Colin.
He has a disclaimer. These are not necessarily the views of the NRA. These are his opinions.
No. The NRA did that so when they compromise, they can say, well, that video we put out wasn't really... He made the video, but NRA News distributed it.
Well, yeah,
okay?
and
so I don't care. The NRA was associated with it. You can tell me they're not. They broadcast it. It was ironic that they broadcast it. I know... They may not have even supported it, but it was ironic because the NRA is the epitome of compromise when it comes to gun rights.
If you look at the history of the NRA, they wrote some of the first gun control laws in the 30s and again in the 60s. But anyways, Colin is coming out and saying, we don't need to compromise. We've compromised enough. It's ridiculous. We've bent over backwards. We don't need to compromise anymore. We have the right to keep and bear arms, and all of these little so-called feel-good, common sense gun laws are crap.
Yeah, they don't do anything. They're not doing any good, but we've been taking it this long. It's time to stop.
I think so too. And
background checks.
And
right?
maybe the NRA is finally, they've got a new president. They've maybe got some new leadership, although I don't know. Maybe they're starting to listen a little bit to some of their constituents and maybe not compromise.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily new leadership or not, or if it's
a new president. Wayne's still there.
An awakening of the American people that allow Wayne to make the millions of dollars he makes.
They also, I think, may be slowly changing their opinion on open carry. They were adamantly against it. Now they're a little bit more neutral and maybe embracing it very slightly.
It's not nearly quickly enough because they should have been advocating.
Certainly.
Not just supporting, advocating for open carry from
and
the
constitutional
beginning.
Carry.
Now, it is the National Rifle Association.
Yeah, and you can long gun open carry.
I know.
The issue is with constitutional carry, it cuts into their bottom line, which is getting fees from teaching concealed carry courses. Well, listen, NRA, you can still teach gun safety courses and defensive courses.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
all kinds of courses. So you don't have to give up that gravy boat.
In fact, I would think that if every state had constitutional carry and guns were mainstream, you would have more people wanting to be educated on firearms. Now, that would increase competition for the NRA because more businesses would get in the business of educating people. But you either believe in your mission or you're in it to make money, and you don't care what it takes to make money.
One of the major criticisms of the NRA was that they're in the game to play, not win. And there may be some truth to that.
Here's a drastic.
And they also had a monopoly on these courses. They're required by how many states?
That was the
You
point
were
I
going
made.
there?
Yeah. This is a drastic comparison, but you look at Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and the race industry. They're not out to eliminate racism because they won't be making any money anymore.
Right.
If they don't have these big things that they can turn into racial issues and talk about it. I mean, the NRA, they have the same problem that when we founded Michigan Open Carry, which we did, it's a nonprofit in Michigan, advocates for the open carry of a firearm.
Yeah.
At least
2009.
Yeah. We talked about this, the fact of hopefully in a couple years we'll be out of business and we can move on to something else.
Right. General gun rights.
It's actually in the bylaws, or it was when we wrote them, that if this isn't needed anymore,
right.
We wrote it so it was flexible enough that we can move on to something else.
Right. Other gun right issues, right?
And I'll tell you, I don't know about you, and I don't, because you may have. I did not make millions when I was vice president or secretary of Michigan Open Carry.
No, actually, it cost me thousands of dollars in time and money and gasoline.
So, and I don't begrudge anybody making a little bit of money on really anything, but when you're out there looking for an organization to support something that you actually believe in because you believe in the cause, just look closely. I mean, really, what's their incentive?
So what you're saying is follow the money.
Yeah.
Follow the money. I
mean, not always, but
Wayne LaPierre makes over $1 million.
And the NRA does some good. Right.
No, they're the gorilla in the room.
Right. They are. Yeah. So
and they got the ears of the legislatures.
They're more like a big elephant with a horn that almost sticks out, so they're almost
more of a stegosaurus. No, a brontosaurus. No, an ultrasaurus.
Oh, wow.
No, they're more like a continent.
Continent?
They're more like a planet.
I don't know.
They're big.
I don't know.
They're more like a universe. They're really big.
Yeah.
I was using big metaphors.
They're not that big.
No, they're not.
I was thinking brontosaurus.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's an old term now. They're ultrasaurus, I think is what they're called.
Anyway, back to Gabby Gifford's pack.
Yeah, apparently she ran into a little bit of trouble.
All guns are bad because I was surrounded by people that didn't carry guns. And in fact, somebody did step up and stop the gunman. But I created this anti-gun group anyway. But they
because it's the politically correct thing to do.
They've stepped in some camel poop recently, haven't they?
Yeah, apparently they have some illegal donations that were tied to Bette Midler.
Bette Midler. Interesting.
Private Family Foundation. And another, the Rupa and Bahart B. Bahart Foundation, who I looked into, and there's
what do they do?
Not a lot of information out there. They are a general welfare type of nonprofit. They're one of the largest. They have over $3 million in assets, and they get almost $500,000 a year in donations.
Not bad. Are they operating in the red?
They're big.
Like other great left-leaning, like the Clintons, for example.
Yeah.
They have the Clinton Foundation and their worldwide awesome stuff.
Yeah,
and
they suck a little money off of that, I'm sure.
Somehow they get millions and millions in donations, but they're losing money every year. But the Clintons are getting richer.
Yeah, you always want to have losses so you can have those deductions. Anyways,
do you want that, or do you just want to run an organization that actually deals with the cause that you claim it does?
No, I want to make money from it. Midler's Foundation gave $10,000. The Bott Foundation $5,000. Apparently, they have to give the money back. According to the Center for Public Integrity, both donations were strictly prohibited by the IRS. Nonprofits, apparently, under this tax code, are restricted from directly or indirectly intervening in political campaigns and private foundations such as Midler and the Bott Foundation. So we'll see what happens. Some people are saying it's not a big issue. It's sort of a technicality type thing, and it really wasn't illegal. And others are saying, oh, no, it's very bad. So we'll see what happens.
Well, look, they're Democrats. Nothing's going to happen to the group. Nothing's going to happen to the cause or to the people who took the donations. They're going to give the money back, and they're going to get it back in some other way.
Well, now that the IRS has all kinds of fully automatic AR-15s and are being trained how to use them, I don't think there'll be any issue.
They will still do nothing to the Democrats.
That's what I'm saying. You want to argue with me? You want to argue with me? I got a 30-round magazine in this thing, fully automatic. I know how to use it. I'm the IRS, and I'm here to help you. Okay.
That's the new
that's their motto.
7 scariest words in the English language now. I'm from the IRS. Boy.
Is our IRS individual words, or is that letters that are an acronym? I don't know.
I'm not an Englisher by trade, so I don't know. Now, I will say
English.
And I've said this before, I like to say it every time, because if you don't, then you get the people on the left yelling at you, saying, hey, you're a bad person. Gabby Giffords, you really do have to admire how she has sprung back from what happened to her. The crap she's doing politically is still crap. It's worse than it was before. She's absolutely wrong for this, and her husband, most of all, is wrong for taking advantage of this, I think.
Kind of Weasley.
But the recovery she's made, and she's still able to make appearances and things, and it wasn't a flesh wound that she got. I mean, you have to admire anybody that does that. Now, we have soldiers doing it every day, and I admire them much more, but
there are people that overcome head wounds all the time.
Well, obviously, sure, but
from all kinds of
she's done it publicly, I guess, which it just adds another layer there. But again, this doesn't surprise me that her political organization is doing things illegally. Obama was found to have gotten some illegal donations for his presidential campaign. What happened to that? Nothing. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. He's a Democrat. He was elected. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about if he cheated. Don't worry that the IRS has been targeting conservatives, and they were during the campaign. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about counties that had over 100% voter turnout that voted Democrat. Don't worry about that.
Who will say the emperor has no clothes?
I will.
Yeah, well.
But he won't listen.
No one's listening
to you. He won't listen. He's not listening to anybody.
Apparently.
I think he might listen to Valerie Jarrett. I think they're pretty good friends. She might be the only one he listens to. I don't know. But it's just not surprising that we have Democrats breaking the law.
No, not.
That's it.
You made that sound very profound, like it was something brand new. You discovered the cure to cancer or something. I don't know.
I don't know how that could be profound and brand new when I said it's not surprising that.
Well, some things that are not surprising could be brand new. It might not be self-evident, but this is.
No, all brand new things are surprising.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
I think so.
If you look in the closet, you can see what your mom and dad got you for Christmas.
Ooh. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk about Detroit. This isn't really new news this week. Last week it was a bit more relevant, but
we want to discuss it.
Yeah, we do. And are they going the way of New York City stop and frisk, or have they been doing it for years? And we'll discuss that. And we have a bunch more going on, but we will be right back after this.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
My Parents Open Carry, a pro-gun kids book from White Feather Press. 13-year-old Brenna and her parents spend their day in typical fashion. But what's not so typical is that Brenna's parents lawfully open carry handguns for self-defense. And the Strongs join a growing number of families who are standing up for their Second Amendment right and bringing gun ownership out of the closet. Order your copy of this unique kids book at myparentsopencarry.com.
Fact. U.S. credit card debt is 8 times larger than it was 30 years ago. No wonder you and I are feeling the credit card crunch. You're not alone. Increasing prices and the costs of credit are stretching budgets and preventing people just like us from getting ahead or just catching up with our debts. At American Financial Debt Relief, we can help. We have tested ways to help you get out of debt. Find out how now. The call is free to learn more. If you qualify, we can reduce your interest, show you how to stop your debt from getting larger, and help you get out of debt faster than you can by making minimum payments. So if you're falling behind on your credit cards or medical bills, give us a call right now, where a free 5-minute call can change your life.
800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Reduce your credit card debt. Call now. 800-978-4815. 800-978-4815.
The world's oceans cover an area 3 times greater than all the land on the planet combined. Under those oceans lie thousands of shipwrecks, sometimes far beyond our reach, other times in the shallows within our grasp. According to the UNESCO, the combined value of these wrecks amounts to hundreds of billions of dollars. A small yet exciting company intends to capitalize on this opportunity. Sea Treasure Corp is on the leading edge of historical shipwreck salvage. The company focuses its recovery efforts on the Florida's Treasure Coast, one of the world hotspots in shipwreck recovery. Sea Treasure is publicly held, meaning anyone can become a shareholder of the company. The trading symbol is JUBA, spelled J-A-B-A. More information about Sea Treasure is available via seatreasure.org or on Yahoo Finance. Just type in the ticker symbol JABA.
So about a week ago, it seems that the Detroit police officers are learning a controversial tactic, but the question is, have they been doing this all along? And it's their city's version of stop and frisk, like it's used in New York. So what we have to analyze is, what's the difference between what Detroit's doing and what the city of New York is doing? And I think there is a difference.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a difference. You're listening to At Odds. I'm Nate. That's Brian. New York City, really, it was ruled unconstitutional, first of all, recently. Right. And
they're appealing.
And it's said to be racist in its execution. I don't know if that's true.
I don't even want the issue of whether it's racism or not. The issue is it's unconstitutional to do it to anybody.
Right. Yeah. But as a stick in the eye, people on the
buzzword is racism.
People absolutely. And I don't think it was racist. It's not the police department's fault. It's not anybody's fault that the majority of crimes were in areas where certain races of people live. Yeah. It's just that's the data. You can look it up. That's the data. For whatever reason,
that's the reality.
It's not racism. But Detroit is not necessarily, and not by policy, picking random people that they think might be planning to commit a crime or that might commit a crime at some point and frisking them in the street.
So let's sort of just give an example. In New York, they would hang out in so-called high crime areas, public housing and things where lots of minorities might live, and they were just randomly going up to people in the street with no probable cause, no reasonable suspicion of anything other than they were there on the street, stopping them and patting them down and searching their pockets and going through their backpacks.
Yeah, looking for weapons and drugs.
And the police are saying, well, that's perfectly fine. That's wrong. That is absolutely a violation of your Fourth Amendment right to unlawful searches and seizures. Courts have held that you need to have probable cause, which is a higher standard than, I think you might be doing a crime. Probable cause is, I'm pretty sure you just committed a crime or that you're an infraction of some crime, therefore I'm going to search you. It's the same as trying to get a warrant. probable cause and getting a warrant are exactly the same. You have to convince a judge to give a warrant, or the police officer has to have enough information to say he could get a warrant in order to search somebody. You can't just randomly stop somebody on the street and say, hey, we're going to pat you down. You're number 23 today. So what?
Yep.
Detroit is using it more in conjunction with traffic stop.
By policy.
Right.
Anyway.
And how they're getting away with it and have been getting away with it is kind of under the Terry stop, where the U.S. Supreme Court said it is constitutional for police officers, for their safety, to pat down on the outside of a detained person's body to search for weapons. They're not supposed to go inside pockets. They're not supposed to go inside, the coat. They're not supposed to go in backpacks and bags. They're supposed to quickly pat you down to feel for a gun or a knife. Then, if they feel that they felt something that might be a gun or knife, then they can investigate a little bit further. But that is for the officer's safety. That's a separate issue, and that's been upheld under the Constitution. If you're pulled over at a traffic stop and the police officer says, step out of the car, I'm going to pat you down for my personal safety, right now we have to suck that up. I think it's wrong.
Yeah, it's absolutely
but
wrong
right now,
and absolutely unconstitutional.
The courts have said it is constitutional.
We've become a country of court decisions, so here we are.
Right, and that's what the Supreme Court does, is to interpret the constitutionality of certain laws.
Yeah.
So I don't know that the police in Detroit are on the same level as those in New York City. So I think the headline is controversial tactics. I'm not so sure. Now, their chief said, we don't stop people without a reason. If we have reasonable suspicion someone is about to commit a crime, we're allowed to stop that individual. That's true. There can be if they think they're about to do a crime, that's probable cause. If they just want to casually talk to somebody and they have RAS, which is a reasonable, articulable suspicion of maybe some criminal activity, there's two different standards there. But they're saying if we have a good reason, we can stop them. If we have a good reason to believe they may be armed, we can pat them down. I do not agree with what he says next. He says if we see a holster or a bulge that looks like a gun, then we're allowed to search them. That's just being proactive. That's a quote. Now, here's the issue. Lots of people in a lot of states, all 50 now, are able to carry concealed weapons lawfully with a license. All right? There are, 4 states now that allow it without a license. So I'm not sure that seeing a bulge or seeing a holster is necessarily a reasonable suspicion of a crime or probable cause, which is even a higher standard of a crime being committed. They seem to forget that people are allowed to carry guns now with licenses.
Now, you mean again?
Again.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I understand.
But yeah, sure.
So saying you see a holster or a bulge, I'm not sure that's a reasonable suspicion anymore.
No, it's not. If that's the only thing that they're basing their action upon is that they see a bulge or even a holster or even a firearm being openly carried, those are not in and of themselves.
We can argue that open carry, then the officer absolutely knows that this person has a weapon. So there should be no search needed.
They have no reason to pat them down, right? Yeah, absolutely not. No, these are in the state of things now where you have to have a concealed pistol license in most states,
yeah.
Michigan, definitely Illinois, but in Detroit, we're talking about Detroit, in Michigan, you have to have a concealed pistol license. So if an officer sees a bulge, how do they know, and you know which side of this I'm on, but how do they know that person, because they suspect it's a gun, how do they know that person has a concealed pistol license?
They don't.
Without checking them out. Now, to me, it's the same thing, and we've had this discussion as well.
Driving a car.
How do you know that the person driving the car is licensed? Can you stop somebody just to check their license?
Right, and the U.S. Supreme Court has said, no, you cannot.
If a vehicle is in that authorized vehicles only place in the highway, How do you know they're not authorized? In Michigan, you can't open carry without a concealed pistol license in a place that sells liquor. If a person is carrying openly in Meijer, where they sell alcohol,
and that's a box store.
Does that Walmart that sells alcohol? That's one that everybody will know.
Right.
Does that give a police officer the
reason
right,
to check for your license?
Because you must have a concealed pistol license to carry a firearm in those places. But can they check just to make sure that you are licensed?
Or should they assume that you are lawful?
Absolutely. Like I said, the side I'm on.
Yeah.
Always assume
Me too.
that you are lawful because, like you've said, I'd rather not bug anybody and a few people get away with it than bug a whole bunch of people that are law-abiding citizens.
I didn't say that. Greater minds than I have said it. Better that 1,000 men, guilty men, go free than one innocent man be convicted.
You've said it several times.
I paraphrased
I think you're lying.
But I don't know that I claimed it as mine.
I didn't say you did. I didn't even say it was yours. You've said it. You're the only person.
That's true. I forgot to listen to you.
You're the only person I've ever heard say it.
Really?
Yes.
That makes me feel good. You need to hang out with better people.
I don't know. Maybe that just means that it's not that great of a quote.
Yeah, maybe. Or, like I said, you better expand your group of
I should
friends.
hang out with better people.
Yes.
Because what I'm doing on a Thursday night right now is hanging out with you.
Which is
so you're
very bad.
absolutely right about that.
Uh-huh.
But no, I think in all cases, law enforcement of any type, whether it's the IRS with an AR-15 or your local sheriff or local township police officer, they should assume that what you're doing is legal until they have real suspicion to assume that it's not.
Right. Probable cause. Probable cause is a pretty high standard. That can't be a gut reaction. I think you might be breaking the law. I'm pretty damn sure you broke the law. That's what probable cause is. So that's a pretty high standard.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, police officers don't understand what that is, and the courts oftentimes side with them on what is reasonable and what isn't reasonable in the name of officer safety. And I'm all for officer safety, don't get me wrong. But I'm also much more in favor of personal freedoms.
Yeah, absolutely. If what the police officer is doing isn't safe unless they infringe on somebody's personal liberty, then they shouldn't be doing it.
For instance, tonight on the way to the studio, I got stopped because I didn't wear my seatbelt. Now,
but you usually do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. 20 years ago, that wasn't a reason to pull me over. It should be my decision whether I want to wear a seatbelt or not. That law was only enacted for the police to be able to stop somebody over and check out. See if they're drinking or drugs or what's up. It gives them an excuse to pull you over. Absolutely.
Let's be clear. When the law was written and passed and enacted and went into effect, it did not give the police officers the ability to pull you over because you weren't wearing a seatbelt. It had some really arbitrary metrics that said after a certain amount of time, if we still think people aren't wearing seatbelts, because at first it could not be a primary offense.
Law. Yeah, it was built in the law.
Based on certain conditions.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That couldn't be a primary reason to pull them over, and after so many years, then it could be a primary reason. Now it's a primary reason.
Based on if certain conditions weren't met by the opinion of some dude in an office.
I don't know.
I mean, if Mr. Joe thought that after 2 years that we weren't doing a good enough job getting people to wear their seatbelts, he could say, well, yeah, we're not. And then it becomes a primary offense. It's ridiculous. Laws shouldn't be written like that.
I agree.
They should write a law. If it doesn't work, reevaluate that law and write a new one.
Or go back to the basic principle of law. If there's no harm, there's no foul. If there's no damages, there's no crime.
Seatbelt laws, helmet laws are
We're
wrong.
on the same page.
They're
there.
ridiculous.
Anyways, I got pulled over.
But I'm just trying to be clear about our Michigan legislatures that they were much more weaselly than just saying, we don't want you to wear, we want police to pull you over.
So you don't want to hear what happened? So I begged for my life.
I haven't heard this story.
The man had a gun. There's not much I could do, but
he did have it in handcuffs. I said, so you were torn.
I said, Mr. Police Officer, I got a clean record. Please give me a break. Please don't give me a ticket.
and then I had to bail you out so we could do this show. So, I mean...
Now I'm up for first-degree murder.
No, that's not funny.
Not pretty.
That's not funny.
No, it isn't. No, he gave me a break and didn't give me a ticket and just gave me a warning. But the point is, it's a BS kind of, law enforcement.
Yeah, that's going to cost me next time I talk to the chief, though.
Yeah, because this was in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to explain that.
I mentioned your name.
Yeah, well, and that's why you got off.
And you may be in the community boards now and have political influence. So next time I get stopped, I'll probably be shot. If you have any influence.
If I do have real influence.
Here's a picture, officers. Shoot this guy on sight.
I'm just saying, drive fast on your way home until you get to the city limits.
But the point I bring it up is there's another reason that they stop you and can investigate you for kind of a bogus type of crap reason.
But they didn't frisk you. Right? I mean...
well, I asked him to.
And that's why he said
I wanted a body cavity search, but he wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it. No, I don't blame him.
I had gloves and everything.
Yeah.
I said, "Here you go, officer."
No,
nothing. No, he didn't. It was very quick, very pleasant. But the fact is, all of that pleasantry hides the fact that he stopped me from going about my business.
Now here's the other thing, and apparently we're digging deep into this one. It's important, and I love talking about it. I hate that I have to, but since I have to, I love it. He had a choice.
Who did?
As well, that police officer.
Yeah.
The law is you have to wear your seatbelt. He was driving in his car, you were in your car.
Right.
And as far as I remember, when I never heard the story before you just told it,
right,
you were going in opposite directions.
Correct.
And in fact, he turned onto a different road and had to turn around.
Well, we passed each other.
On the same road?
I was in the turn. I was in the turn lane, and he was, going the opposite direction. So we were like 2 feet apart.
But then you turned off onto a different road.
He could have reached into my car and buckled me up.
Point is,
and he turned around.
It wasn't
when he saw me.
the most convenient stop for him. He had to turn around and all this. He
a choice. He went out of his way. Yes.
He had a choice,
right, to
say, you know what, the seatbelt law, and since I don't suspect anything else,
I am very unsavory looking. I fit a lot of profiles.
Yeah.
I am middle-aged, short hair, white male driving a Suburban.
Very large global warming causer.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But he didn't have to pull you over. He could have said in his head, I'm a police officer. The law is he can't wear a seatbelt. But, that's really not something that is hurting anybody, and I'm going to make the choice not to pull him over.
Right.
Now, granted, he did make the choice not to inflict much more punishment on you. He could have given you a ticket,
Absolutely.
a hefty ticket.
Yeah.
He decided not to.
Officers always have discretion, and Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr., the Supreme Court Justice at the turn of the 19th century, said, the law comes down to what the officer on the beat says it is, and that's so very true. They have a lot of power and a lot of discretion. They can choose to enforce just laws and unjust laws.
Yeah, and in theory, you always have the chance to go in front of a jury, and defend yourself against those laws. Maybe not a jury, maybe a magistrate or whatever it is. Yeah, but in the words of Jesse Jackson, we just have to let the justice system, work. So. Well,
and it's like so many sheriffs in Colorado who are, bucking the system on their the new gun control laws that have been passed, and now there's a lawsuit, and I guess Jeff Knox, who is a Second Amendment rights attorney, is taking on that case for them. So really, law enforcement can fight against the system of unjust laws and stuff.
Yeah, they can, and like you said, we see it popping up. We're going to take a quick break. Check out our book, My Parents Open Carry, myparentsopencarry.com. It's a kid's book. Get the discussion going on the Second Amendment.
And you have until tonight to like us.
Until tonight, Facebook.com/@oddshow. And of course, you're right here on @oddshow.com. We'll be right back.
Red State Talk Radio.
The idea of government taking over healthcare is enough to make you sick.
The conservative voice.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. That's 1-800-257-2873.
When it comes to TV, if you can't see the difference, why pay the difference? Switch to Dish for the best value in entertainment. Not only will you find the same channels you know and love for less, Dish sweetens the deal with free HD for life and premium movie channels free for 3 months, including Blockbuster at home. You can also save a bundle when you combine DishNet high-speed internet with your TV service. Why would you ever pay more for TV? Switch to Dish and see what real value is. Free HD for life, premium channels free for 3 months, scores of movies with Blockbuster at home, premium savings when you bundle DishNet high-speed internet service. Limited time offer, 24-month agreement with credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. Call for details.
Call Dish Satellite, your Dish authorized retailer now. 800-507-9468. 800-507-9468. 800-507-9468. That's 800-507-9468.
Red State Talk Radio.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Did you know that term life insurance rates have fallen over 60% in the last 15 years? At the Life Insurance Quote Line, we monitor the rates, features, and financial strength of hundreds of life insurance products. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can protect his family with $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $20 a month. Rates for women are even lower. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life policies that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Since 1986, we've helped tens of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Why not find out how much you can save? Write down this number and call today for your free quote. 1 5-minute call is all it takes. Call 800-610-3497. 800-610-3497. That's 800-610-3497. Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
Got milk?
Goat's milk?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Or baby formula. Which is better?
Baby formula.
Apparently there was a case where we had a 17-year-old unmarried woman that had a child, was having trouble breastfeeding and getting the child to eat and nurse, and used goat milk. Baby loved the goat milk. High in protein, high in fat. Nothing wrong with goat milk. And
other than that, it comes from a goat.
Yeah, but
it's kind of weird.
Have you ever looked at where milk comes from? Milk? Comes from a cow.
Oh, milk. Okay.
Yeah. Not milk. That comes from mama.
Because that I've never.
Yeah. No, you haven't tasted that in a long time.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I hope it's true. Ew. Anyways, so apparently the government came in and said, "Oh, you can't feed your baby goat milk. There's something wrong with that." Even though human beings have been drinking goat milk for millennia. That's thousands of years.
Yeah, which is weird. I mean, humans are weird in that they generally
other mammals' milk, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, it's a little weird. I mean, who's to say we're any better than all of the other animals out there?
May contributed to our success as a species.
Or it may be holding us back.
Have you looked
you
around?
Don't know.
Have you
And
looked
you don't
around?
know.
How many goats have built the Empire State?
Why don't we have flying cars yet?
Ooh.
Other than the ones that we do actually have. Why aren't
Goat
they
milk?
in commercial production? It could be because of goat's
goat
milk.
milk. Well, the point is the government has no business.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
In getting involved in what a mother who is not harming their child in any way. Actually, the child was thriving.
And in fact, pediatricians said
on
that.
goat's milk. Yeah. And there were lots of people that said, yeah, there was a pediatrician exactly who came out and said, I have lots of patients that give their kids goat milk and have never had an issue. And for some reason they want to try to take this kid away, and that's the state again trying to tell people that this baby doesn't belong to you, it belongs to us collectively as a state.
Yeah, but just Brian, just reject the voices saying tyranny's around the corner.
Pay
because
no
they're
attention
wrong.
to the man behind the curtain.
Like the president said, you have to reject the voices that say tyranny's always lurking around the corner. He was right, because those voices are a few years behind. It's no longer around the corner.
No, it's right in front of you.
It's right here.
It's
telling
smacking you on the
that
pee-pee
you
right
can't
now.
feed
Bam!
your kid goat's milk.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with goat's milk.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Actually,
have you ever had it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well,
I would not
try
be
it.
opposed to trying it.
Try it, and
I've had goat cheese, delicious.
Oh, you know what that's made from? Cow's milk.
No, I don't think so. I'm not a milk drinker. I don't think that people should drink milk after a certain age. But I love cottage cheese, and I love cheese, and I love all kinds of cheese products, but I don't drink milk. I just don't. I don't know why.
Yeah,
my wife and daughter drink milk like crazy.
And
I'm not a big... I will have it occasionally in ice cold milk with Oreo cookies. It's hard to beat that.
They
it's hard to
forever
beat
go
that.
together like a classic combination.
You can't. It's like apple pie and cheese. It's a hug. It's a kiss without a hug. No, it's a kiss without a squeeze. Apple pie. Anyways,
wow.
They go together. So we can talk about that, but I think that's crap. I don't think the government has any business.
We did talk about it, and
now if it's,
you're absolutely right. The government has no business in your house telling you what to eat.
If it's tainted goat's milk, maybe if it's riddled with liberal politics, then maybe they should ban goat's milk.
The reason they want to ban goat's milk is because it's not riddled with liberal politics.
The government can't control it, so we want you not to drink it.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, that's why you can't have non-pasteurized milk as well. That's the pushback against that. That's the pushback against growing your own food and not buying your food from somebody else. You shouldn't be able to grow your own food or have your own milk or fend for be independent.
Right. Self-sufficient.
Because how will the government get their cut? How will they tell you what to do? How will they control you?
How can they control you? That's exactly right. It's control. In the old days, the government encouraged people to be self-sufficient, Take care of yourself. Don't count on the government, But now a person stockpiles food, water, all these things that could help them get through some kind of crisis or disaster, and they're looked upon as terrorists.
Not that long ago.
Malicious people, or militia people and crazy people.
And you brought this up about the IRS, but not that long ago, Ronald Reagan, the 9 scariest words in the English language, we're from the government and we're here to help. That's the thought that even the President of the United States used to have. And we're so far from that in just 30 years that it...
Wake up.
It's crazy.
Wake up.
Time.
Fight that.
Yep. Feed your kids goat milk.
And prepare.
Yep. And if you can find camel milk or cat milk.
Simpson episode. Remember the Simpsons? They had
Simpsons
the mafia guy that was selling the school rat's milk?
Yeah.
And they caught him and they go, what? Milk's milk? It's true. It's pretty much true.
I don't know if that's true or not, but
it's fat and it's protein.
I'm not a milk connoisseur because, like you, I don't drink milk much.
Yeah.
Wine? I drink wine. Milk, not so much.
Ooh.
Goat wine?
You cannot feed your children wine. Or can you? Like they do in a lot of places in the world.
Yeah. you can't. It's illegal, and we could talk about that because
it's
on
not
one
illegal
level, I
if
think
it's a
that's
religious
ridiculous,
ceremony. Right?
There
are exceptions to that.
Yep. Yeah, and then I think there should be, other than just a blanket exception.
No, I think there should be a blanket exception. If you want to give your kids a glass of wine with dinner at a certain age, then that's fine.
Yeah. When the parents think it's okay, and you look at the big picture of, is the kid being taken care of, and are they not being abused? And if that's the case, then leave them the hell alone.
Like,
maybe Obama will...
Where the state came in to help this one family who took their child away, who was age 2, because the parents had smoked pot. And they put the kid into a couple different foster homes and got lost in the system and was abused and murdered by the foster parents.
But at least they weren't around drugs.
At least they weren't with the parents, because those parents had taken care of that kid for 2 years without incident. And then,
yeah, but
3 months later, the kid's dead.
But
That's the state that comes in to help you. My favorite saying now is we need to kill everybody so no one gets hurt.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It would solve most of our problems, wouldn't it?
And in 1984, it would make sense.
Yeah, maybe Obama will sign an executive order to legalize goat's milk and
I don't know that it's
interfering with
I don't know that goat's milk is illegal.
Much like...
Well, look at the raw milk case of cow's milk,
Yeah.
People are buying raw milk. Oh, that's not good for you. We've been drinking raw milk for 10,000 years.
We're in a situation now where the story we had 2 weeks ago, the kid named Messiah, that the government is telling people what they can name their kids, what they can feed their kids, where they can send their kids to school, what they teach their kids. It's where we're at, and it's time to stand up, look at this stuff and say, is that really right? Or should I make those decisions for my child?
Right. Or you get the philosophy of some teachers that say your children belong to the state, not to the parents. Those children are ours.
Or mainstream media like MSNBC.
Teachers that have said that.
Yeah, MSNBC has that take that they're not your children. We have to get over the fact that they're your children. These are community children.
These belong to the collective.
We're getting close to time here, but though I brought up the executive orders because I wanted to clarify something that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Where I was sort of right and wrong, and you were sort of
basically
wrong
where
and right.
you weren't listening to the words I said, and you wanted to hammer home what an executive order is supposed to be,
right? As opposed to what it actually might be.
what it really is today,
right?
And
I can see that.
Just to know, as far as I know, unless one, I think ever there's been 2 overturned.
Yep.
2 ruled unconstitutional. Because
which is a shame.
Because they went too far.
Japanese, I think, wasn't it?
I think that was one of them. Yeah, and I can't remember what the other one was.
Yeah, but they were a while ago.
Yeah, relatively a long time ago.
We need some new stuff ruled on this. And there are challenges in the courts now on some of the executive orders.
There are. Like you said, and you were correct, and I never said you weren't, executive orders by Constitution.
You said it all the time.
Well, you usually are wrong. By Constitution, an executive order is meant, the president has some power to say how the executive branch operates.
Manages and operates.
Set policies of the executive branch. Now, there's a whole nother discussion of whether most of the executive branch should exist. The IRS, the EPA, Department of Homeland Security. Those probably shouldn't exist. But executive orders, he can tell those organizations what they can do.
Departments. Right?
I mean,
those can be created, I think. It's the fact that he's telling people what to do without
should they
Congress
and can they be
and have
are
the
two
force
different
of law.
things.
Right.
I said should they exist. I don't think they should. No. Whether they legally can or not, that's another discussion.
That's up to the courts.
And you know who
appoints the court.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
The way executive orders are being used are to tell these agencies what to do,
to circumvent,
but to tell them how to treat individual citizens. Like, well, let's not enforce immigration laws. Or, I don't know, let's really look at background checks on firearms. These are the kind of executive orders that are, well, yeah, maybe they're legal.
Or maybe in the future,
they haven't been challenged.
Don't enforce, drug laws or something like that.
Yeah, right. And it could go either way, but I don't know that it should. And there's just been a lot of leeway on executive orders.
Too much power to the executive branch.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the point I was trying to make a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why we didn't, well, we had Shaq Hill on last week, so that's why we didn't get to it last week. But, you just need to watch. He's signed, Obama, you can go to the whitehouse.gov and look at all the executive orders he's signed. He's signed a ton of them.
Yep.
A ton. And I think most presidents do.
Yeah,
but you don't hear about them. There's all sorts of things.
Because some of them are just kind of sort of technical issues and they don't really affect the general population.
Well, they should.
On a great scale.
The government should be so limited and so slow-moving, because that was the intent, to have a slow-moving body, that everything they do affects the people. And it should affect everybody, and the people should know how it affects them.
I agree.
That's not the case. Things are happening bam, 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 bam. Technology's changed so they can operate as fast as anybody else can. And everything is an emergency and has to be fixed today. Nothing other than maybe an attack on something to do with real national security. Nothing
issues,
should be an emergency. We shouldn't have a debt crisis or a budget crisis that we need a budget by midnight tonight because we've done nothing for the last year.
Right.
That is not supposed to happen.
And use it as a stick and carrot type of thing.
Yeah, and that's all it is. It always comes down, like it will again, I'm going to shut the government down. No, that's not. The Republicans are going to shut the government down and nobody will get, the soldiers won't get paid and Social Security checks will stop and all these other lies, because they are lies. None of that will actually happen. The government shuts down every weekend. People still survive. The government's closed down right now.
It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But we are out of time. I want to thank you for listening. Remember to like us. Tonight is the last night to like us on Facebook.
And we'll have a winner next week?
Next week we will announce the winner. Facebook.com/@oddshow. Check out our book, myparentsopencarry.com. See you next week.
Bye-bye.